Hello everyone, welcome to another video of mine, it's Commander A, and this is a Chelsea talking point video where I'm going to discuss with you one specific main topic with you guys that, in my personal opinion, is quite interesting. It's a good talking point and it's going to be, inform you guys a lot about our transfer budget, some of the deadwood players that we can sell to raise funds, how to generate that war chest and sell players at surplus to requirements. I'm going to be discussing all of them and how we could potentially use these funds to sign more marquee signings, and can look at the logistics and the financial sense and all of these. But before I do get into it, make sure you hit the bell notification, subscribe, smash the like button, and comment down below your thoughts, opinions on each player, which players you guys want sold and which players you think would be kept, that is, going to be as an asset that's going to be helpful for the future under Frank Lampard's reign. Leave me your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. But without further ado, let me get straight into it. Now, starting off with the main talking point, and that is how Chelsea can generate a war chest to fund Havertz or Sancho, plus further potential signings, i.e. a left back, a centre back, etc. Now, essentially, the players that I'll be discussing, the five main players, will be Antonio Rudiger, Marcos Alonso, Ross Barkley, Michy Batshuayi and Emerson. These five players that, in my opinion, are surplus requirements of Chelsea, that are not key figures at the club and that can be easily replaceable by top tier players that can take Chelsea to its next level. Now, by enhancing and selling these players, we could then sign the likes of another marquee player, i.e. a Sancho or Havertz, or plus other signings like a Tagliafico that we desperately need, or another centre back, etc, etc. Now, in my personal opinion, I'll be discussing each of those five players in depth, but I'm also be giving how much I think we can probably command for them as a price tag. Now, starting off with the first one, that is Marcos Alonso. Now, Marcos Alonso, obviously, we know has been surplus requirements. Before lockdown occurred, Marcos Alonso was starting majority of our games. But let's cast our minds back to the start of the season. When Frank Lampard first signed as manager, Emerson was our predominantly starting left back. He started, and before he had that minor injury in October, he was one of our best players, was the best left back in the Premier League, and not a single attacker dribbled past him. His pace, his agility, his link up, he was one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League. He was stunning. He showed that early Roma form back in Serie A, and we thought that we would have a top left back on our hands. Now, unfortunately, he endured that injury and he never returned the same player ever since, and he's been trying to, but with the lack of game time, with constant injuries, and with Marcos Alonso coming into the frame, he's been unable to produce those reminiscent performances at the start of the season. And in my personal opinion, I think that we'd be better off to sell Marcos Alonso compared to Emerson, because I think Emerson suits what Lampard wants. Now, what I mean by that is Marcos Alonso is very good in that left wing back position. We know that he's a very, very good left wing back. He's very good in the back five, in the back three, where he scores those clutch goals, he makes those infield runs. He's nice in the spaces, his passing is quite decent. We know he's not that press resistant and he's got a lack of pace. But in the left wing back system, when he's got that defensive cover, when he doesn't have that responsibility to essentially defend all the time and bomb back, he's got the free reins to make those infield runs and be the extra attacker on that left hand side. And I think that there are some clubs to be really interested for him. Now, the two that I think would be he would suit their system would be Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan. Now, both of their manager Antonio Conte has obviously worked with Alonso and knows Alonso very, very well, which is why Inter Milan are a top target. And also Atletico, because they have Diego Simeone, who's a very defensive-minded coach. They play with a back five at times, a back three possibly. And in this La Liga, it's not as fast-paced, it's not as physical as the Premier League, so he would get away with that lack of defending in some sense. Now, the question here is, what kind of fee can we command for Marcos Alonso? We can't be stupid here. We can't be commanding 40 to 45 million pounds, because we'll never get that fee. But I'm looking at around 25 to 30 million pounds. He's still got a 3-year contract, so he's got a lengthy contract. The issue is the wages on 150,000 pound a week, 3-year contract left. We can command some decent amount of money for him. I'm looking at around 25 to 30 million pounds. But what do you guys think? Do you think we can command around 25 to 30 million pounds? And if not, leave me your reasons as to why you think we can't get that amount of money. Now, talking about Emerson, obviously we can't sell both left backs in this window. That is not logistically possible. It doesn't make any logical sense. But like I keep stressing, I think Emerson is more suited to Lampard's system. Yes, Alonso scores more goals. I think Emerson is better suited to our system. He's a better defender, a more well-rounded left back, a natural left back who's got more pace. He's got more agility, he's got better link up, he's more press resistant compared to Marcos Alonso. And I think that Emerson actually has more transfer value in him. Now, you'd be thinking, if he has more transfer value, then surely sell Emerson. But I think that because he suits our system more and he'd be a fantastic backup, in my personal opinion, I think we should be keeping Emerson and selling Alonso, where we can get around 25 to 30 million pounds. Now, getting on to the second player that we can talk about regarding deadwood and selling on is Antonio Rudiger. Now, this one potentially may not happen this window. Now, of course, there were some reports in the last few days. Antonio Rudiger is actually holding discussions with the club to extend his current 2-year contract. Now, his current contract ends in 2022, but him and his agent are in current negotiations with Mourinho Sky and the rest of the Chelsea hierarchy to potentially extend his current contract. Now, he was the main reason, not the main reason, but part of the reason why Timo Werner has signed for Chelsea. He is very good mate to Timo Werner. He was one of the main reasons why I essentially convinced Timo Werner to come and sign for Chelsea. Now, if that's the case, if you're convincing one of your best mates to come to a club where potentially you're leaving, that wouldn't make too much sense. Plus, if you're entering negotiations, that does necessarily mean that you are here to stay. So I think this is not too realistic, but I put it out there because, I know that he is surplus to requirements. I know that he's not our first or second choice centre-back. He is on our bench a lot of the time. And I know that a lot of our fans don't rate him, including myself. I think that he has a lot of liabilities. He doesn't know how to hold a line. I don't know if the guy even knows what an offside trap is. Really, he's not as good as I think he is. And I think his reading in the game is very, very poor. I think that we can do much, much better. And the good thing is he's still young. He's entering his prime. And I think that, we can still command a good amount of fee. The reason why another reason I'm picking these 5 players is not only are they surplus requirements and we can definitely upgrade on them, but also the fact that they actually hold transfer value. They actually hold monetary value that we can utilise and reinvest into the squad. I'm not using Pedro or Willian in this video because we're going to lose them on a free. So we're not getting any compensation, we're not getting any monetary value for them. So it makes no financial sense to include them in this video. I'm including these 5 players that have monetary value that can actually help the squad reinvest. And Antonio Rudiger does that. He has the monetary value. I think that we can easily command around £30 to £35 million in my personal opinion. But what do you guys think? Do you think we can command more for him? Don't forget we spent £34 million to sign him from Roma in the first place. So I think that if we can get from about £35 to £40 million, I think that'd be quite a fair price. I think that we'd get probably our money back for him. He's developed, he's gotten slightly better. He's still established. He's still an established centre-back. He's played in the Premier League, he plays for Chelsea. And I think that he'd be a very, very good centre-back. Honestly, I do. An established German centre-back, a World Cup winning centre-back. I think that he would be, he would go for likes of £35 to £40 million. But that is just my opinion. How much do you guys think that Antonio Rudiger would go for? Now, next player I want to speak about is Ross Barkley. Now, he has, attracted interest from the likes of Newcastle. Now, obviously, that all depends if the Saudi Arabians actually completely take over Newcastle. I know they've got some piracy issues and they've got to sort it out with the EFL and the Premier League. But regarding Ross Barkley, I think that, he does hold a lot of monetary value. Remember, he's English, so you've got that English tax. He's an established English international who plays for England, played for Everton, plays for Chelsea Football Club, an attacking midfielder. And don't forget, we signed this guy with 6 months left on his contract for about £15 million. And at the time, I thought we could, even if it doesn't work out as it has now, we can easily double our profits here because we could send him on for about £30 million. Now, obviously, Mourinho Sky, according to reports, wants to get around £40 million for his signature. I think, personally, that is quite a lot of money. I don't think that it's I'll be very, very surprised if we get anywhere near that value. But I think £30 million is probably about right. I think we get £30 million if Newcastle are interested. He'd be Newcastle's best player. He'd be a starter forward and we get the game time. He's English, established English international, plays for Chelsea, got Champions League experience. I think that, got a lot of goals and stuff. I think that we could easily command about £30 million for him. But what do you guys think? Do you think that we could sell Ross Barkley about £30 million? Remember, he's surplus to requirements. He doesn't offer us too much. And if we want to sign the likes of Havertz or Sancho, we want to sign an attacker, then unfortunately Barkley would have to be sold. I think he's part of our deadwood, doesn't get into our first team by any means. And I think that we could sell him to reinvest that funds back into the squad. Now, the last player I do want to speak about is Michy Batshuayi. Now, a player that I spoke about a lot yesterday because, of course, there's a couple of clubs that are interested in signature. 2 Premier League clubs. Again, one is Newcastle and the other one is West Ham. Now, Newcastle have shown more interest and it's more likely they could be potentially heading to Newcastle. Now, Mourinho Sky believes that his value is around £30 to £35 million, which again is quite high. I think that, even though despite him being a Belgium international and, of course, playing for Marseille, playing for Chelsea, he's surplus to requirements, he can't get enough game time, and every time he's played this season, he hasn't lived up to his standards. He's not been scoring enough goals, he's not been providing assists. I think that there's a lot of weak attributes, a lot of weak areas to his game that I think that doesn't suit Lampard's system. I think that he needs to improve upon. He's still relatively young, I think he can improve, and like I said, Belgium international, played at the Euros, World Cup, got the Champions League experience, plays for Chelsea. I think that we can sell Michy Batshuayi again, sell another attacker as well as Pedro Willian and potentially Ross Barkley to fund the likes of Havertz or Sancho. And by selling or potentially selling these 5 players at surplus requirements, we can, in my opinion, raise around 130 to 140 million pounds, which can easily fund the likes of either Sancho or Havertz, plus any extra money that we do have can then sign likes of Tagliafico at left back, etc, etc. I think that by selling the deadwoods, by profiting from these, we can then definitely generate a war chest to fund either Havertz or Sancho, plus further signings. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm being realistic? Do you think, of course it's not as easy as I'm saying, it's going to take more negotiations, but do you think that the prices I've put on these 5 players is realistic and financially sensible? Leave me your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. Smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.